Hello, my name is Alejandra Pagan, but most know me as Ali. Today I wanted to talk with you all about acting and how to navigate a successful acting career and what a successful acting career means to you. I wanted to talk a little bit about myself and how I've been growing as an actor and just, give you some tips and tricks and maybe some advice on how to go about what path you want to take in this industry. But yeah, so to start off, I graduated from Parkside in 2016, and I then went on to go to SCAD, which is Savannah College of Art and Design in Savannah, Georgia. I majored in performing arts with a minor in acting for the camera and casting. I'm currently a senior at SCAD, but I will be graduating next month, so I'm super excited. Yeah, so I actually got into acting. I I don't want to say later because it's still young. I was still young. I mean, I was in high school, but some people they get into acting in middle school or like even younger than that. But I got into acting when I was in high school. So my first play was my freshman year in the fall, and I was Patrolman Harrington in Lizzie Borden of Fall River. And that's where I really found the love for being on the stage. But even before that, so like when I was in fifth grade, I actually had gone to career fair. And this is when I thought, I always wanted to be on television and stuff like that. And like my family had always found like these things called like Pro Scouts and stuff, which is a scam, by the way. Just want to put that out there. But yeah, I went to the career booth. In career fair, there was a booth for radio. And I love talking, I love rambling, I love just, I can just talk your ears off and I won't even say what I actually need to say, I won't even get to the point, You're probably getting that right now, right? Yeah? Okay, cool. But anywho, so Ron Banks was the guy at the radio booth, and he was actually one of my friend's dad, and he was talking about yeah, it's good to have be a radio personality, you could like host events, you got that radio voice and this, that, and the other, like you'd be great. I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that sounds like a fun time. Of course, when was I gonna be able to have that opportunity? I was young. I like there was no way. I thought I would potentially even be able to get into radio once I got into high school, but there was no high school radio station. Not like some other high schools, which I thought that was really interesting. I found that one out when I got to SCAD that actually existed, and I was like, oh, huh. Didn't have that luxury. There's a lot of luxuries I did not have that I found out about from other people when I got to SCAD. So it was interesting. But anywho, so once I, got into theater, in theater, that's like your family. Because, a lot of people, that's like your getaway. I remember back in high school, like there was like a couple people who, drama club was their escape from that home life. And so you really do create a bond with everybody that you're with. And, with that, it helps you just get in the routine of doing a whole length play over and over and over again, and then eventually you're performing it for people, and you have to know how to really like maintain that energy every single night from like opening night to closing night. And now obviously it's different with like high school, because you're only doing two nights of a play, and then it's over. You have opening night and then you have closing night, and you're probably having the most energy both opening and closing. And then in the spring you'll have the children's play, and so you'll perform for children during the day, but then have the play in the nighttime, and then you'll have the closing night play as well. Or you might have opening night, and then the next day would be morning and then night. But I'm sorry, seniors. I just thought about it. But anywho, moving on. All of this to say that you're creating your network. This is your start of your network. You want to maintain the relationships that you make with the people that you're currently with, because yes, you guys might go off and you guys might do something else, but you want to stay connected, because at the end of the day, what's really going to help propel your career and help you be a successful actor is your network. And that was something that was really important to me. Especially when I got to SCAD, because I didn't really think about it. Like, I was one of those people, like, I was like, you know what? I'm cutting everyone off except for my drama family. And even then, some of y'all did me dirty the last year, so I'm done. Nope, not doing it. And now I'm finding myself rekindling friendships and rekindling relationships because I'm like, oh, wait a second. No, we actually need each other. We should work together to help make this new thing. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where you don't want to burn bridges if you don't have to. Now, I'm not saying stay in a toxic relationship. No, don't do that. There's plenty of people out there to work with, but if you already have the resources and you already have the people around you to help build you up, then utilize that. So yeah. But for my next thing is I ended up getting my television debut on like my sophomore year of high school, and that wasn't like national TV or anything. It was all just local. So I had the opportunity to be this weather wannabe, as they call it, and that was for WMDT, and that's basically where I just did the weather. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have a teleprompter. I just had to do everything based off of improv. And who knew that from that I would love improv so much, because I feel like it's really important. I felt like I had to keep doing it over and over and over again because it wasn't live. I had to they recorded it and then played it the next morning. But I wanted to become so good at improv that I could just do everything in one take really fast and not have to keep doing it over and over and over again. So that way we can just move on. So that way it can be done and we could go on to the next thing. And there was something about that, the quality of doing that just intrigued me so much. And film work, since there wasn't really any kind of like film class at Parkside, which there isn't, I just was like, this is interesting. Something about this makes me want to know more. And so I already knew at that time, like early in high school, that I wanted to go to some version of art acting school. But I didn't know where. I didn't know which one. You know, I was looking at NYU, UCLA, there's so many, like I was looking at all the big ones. And then in my junior year of high school, that's where I really was like, okay, like this is my time. Like I need to make sure I have everything in line. Like I knew I wanted to, potentially do a sport in college, maybe, so that I can you gotta stay fit. You gotta have that, as they say, actor's body, but you don't necessarily need to have a fit body to have a good actor's body, because the industry, and I'll talk about how there's pros and cons to the industry. I'll talk about that maybe in another video, maybe later in this one. We'll see what happens. But in my head, I was like, I need to maintain my actor's body. Like I need to stay fit. I need to look good, because you never know. You just never know what you're gonna be up for. And so at the YMCA, there's my dad does Zumba, and so another Zumba instructor, she was an actress on the show House of Cards and Veep on HBO, and she also did Community Players in Salisbury. And so she actually had told me that of the school called SCAD, and she was like, yeah, my daughter Miranda went here, and then when she graduated she went off to LA, and now she has her production her production company. She has her own little series that she made, and she's doing all sorts of things. And yeah, now I'm seeing a few things here and there of what Miranda's doing out there in LA. And so for me, I'm like, oh, well, if she did it, I could totally do it. I know I am so driven. And it's true. I mean, all you really need is the passion, a headshot and resume, and a potential demo reel if you don't have one already, And so with that, and it sounds complicated, I know, and it all sounds very scary, but there are resources out there to help you. I am definitely a resource, because I love helping people create their resume and create because you don't know exactly what to put on there unless you're told, or if you can look at an example online from somebody's resume, and they're not all gonna look exactly the same, but you at least want to have a similar look to your resume. And it's good to have a website if you don't have one already. That's one thing that because I'm a student ambassador here at SCAD, and whenever we have students come in and visit the school, I ask them, I'm like, so what do you got? What's in your wheelhouse? What can you show? What can you show me that'll make us want you? Like, yes, the ball is in your court and it's in our court as well. Like, we're trying to pitch ourselves to you, but in a way you have to pitch yourself to us so that we can still accept you into the school. And so one student, I'll never, like, he's amazing. His name's Jack Karen. Remember that name. Remember it. I know he's going to be successful. He already low-key is. But he already had his website. He had a ton of films that he created himself. That's the key. Creating your own content. And I looked, he gave me his business card. That's another thing. Keep business cards on you. Create them. You can go, Staples. Go on. You could even Google like business cards, like a great tool. Like find where you can, your local place that'll help you, print out your business cards. And for me, when I created my business cards, I knew that I wanted to create them myself just to feel more creative, but you don't have to go the route that I did. I did mine in Adobe InDesign, but that's because I go to an art school and they teach you these things, and not everyone has that luxury. So it doesn't make sense for you to be like, oh, well, he did his in InDesign, so I'm going to do mine in InDesign too. Well, no, you don't. If you don't know how to use it, don't trust me. I barely know how to use it. So yeah, I created it, and then I ended up utilizing a facility that is close to myself, which is called Creative Approach, and then I cut them myself. Now, I don't recommend doing that. Like I said, I highly recommend just going to Staples or ordering them online so that they can be shipped to you. And they could already be pre-cut. But yeah, so wow, I really do go on tangents, don't I? But yeah, so once I got into SCAD, I knew that I really wanted to focus on film and television. Especially after, because I had done a musical. I did Mary Poppins my senior year, as well as The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and I played Aslan, and that was at Parkside. So doing both at the same time, it was really cool to navigate doing a musical and a straight play at the same time. But once I had gone into SCAD, I received an email from, we call her the email guru, Colleen Mond, and that's basically like the school has a casting office here. And so she basically said that a local production, at the time was called Underground, which was on WGN America, they needed a few extras. And this is when I was starting to, get to know the lingo of what it's like to be on set, and like the set life, and knowing like what certain words and terms mean. And you just kind of learn it as you go along, and you learn through experience. Like, yes, you can Google this information, you can probably find out a lot of the lingo online, but you really won't know exactly what they mean and like how to use them until you're on set and it's in context. Or at least for myself, I'm very like hands-on visual. Like, I need to be able to see it to really understand what is happening. And so I emailed her back and I said, oh, okay, cool. I just send an email to so-and-so and then like I can get in. They're like, yeah. So I emailed, it's called makescenes.com. Then from there, I put in the little keyword that I had to put in, whatever the show is, and then I waited. And weeks went by before I even heard anything from them. And eventually they said, I got an email from the production office for that show, and they said they wanted me to come in so that I can be the role of slave number whatever, and then I would be a featured extra. And I'm like, oh, cool. Now, little did I know, like, I knew exactly what the show was about, Underground Railroad and this, that, and the other, Harriet Tubman, this, that, and like all of that. I knew that, and I knew who I was portraying, but I didn't realize how much camera time I was gonna get. I didn't really understand all of that. So that was really my first experience with everything and getting to know how a set works, because at the end of the day, how there's a hierarchy. And so, you have the above the line people, and then you have below the line. And so usually you're gonna have your like producers, your director, and even and actors too, in some capacity, that are above the line. Now that's gonna be your lead actors and such. But below the line is gonna be other crew. So all the other crew members. So like all the key everything. I don't want to get too technical with things because like I don't know. I don't want to provide you too much information because then it's a lot to handle. But yeah, a lot of in the below the line, it's just basically everyone else, and it just kind of goes in order. And that's the unfortunate part about just the industry in itself, is that because it's a hierarchy, you can't really like stepping on other people's toes. Like you're stepping on hair and makeup's toes if, say for instance an actor's hair is out of place and you're just a grip, and say for instance, and a grip's the person that does the lighting, but if you're just a grip and you're just kind of just sitting there and you're not really doing anything, and you like notice that their hair's off or something, then you're just kind of like the actor goes up to you and goes, oh, hey, can you like help me put this right here? That's not your job as the grip. That's not your job. You can't touch them. You can't fix it for them. Because people actually get in trouble for that. And that's also a part of the union laws and stuff like that. It's just your job is your job, and that's it. You don't do anybody else's job, and you don't cross over into anything. So yeah, that's basically what all of this to say, is that the industry is just it's an interesting time, to say the least. But it's a fun one, don't get me wrong. Now I will say, if you are to do extra work, that don't go into it with too pleasant of a thought, just because that's the bottom of the barrel. At the end of the day, that is the bottom of the pot. Nobody like truly cares for it. I will say the industry, at least here in Savannah, is getting so much better with treating the background actors, because for me, I felt like I was cared for. This past show that I did, also watch Council of Dads on NBC. But yeah, I like for that show at least, like everybody I know on there, like they were treating all the background actors with the utmost respect. Because at the end of the day, everyone is there for a purpose, and that is to create a show and put that content out there for the viewers. Without the one person, like something can go wrong. So everybody's needed. So it's just good that at least for this crew, they knew how to talk to the background actors. So it's just choose where you want to be. Now, yeah, I think I'm gonna stop this one right here, because I think this is a good stopping point. And so for my next video, I'll talk more about auditioning. But to finish up, let me finish this up a little bit, because I am losing my train of thought a little bit. But to finish my thought, I ended up, like I said, going in from that one time of being on Underground. I then ended up finding my agent through actually one of my coworkers at my first job here in Savannah, which was Rolling Ice Cream. And he was like, yeah, there's an agent here in town who's like helping actors, get their start and stuff. So I think that'd be good for you, and you could potentially, like, if you have something like, like I said, headshot resume and that reel. And so I busted my derriere to basically get all of that collected and get that all together. And so I did some student films where I, got that under my belt. And like I said, get your own content out there and create that. put that into, you could do iMovie, Premiere Pro, like whatever the software is that you're gonna use to cut your videos together. And yeah, I put that together, sent that to the agent. She looked over it, and next thing I knew, I was signing with my first ever agent. And from there, she really helped me like navigate the industry and help me get jobs and stuff. And so, yeah, I went on a ton of auditions. I have yet to book a speaking role for a national series, a national television series, or for a movie, but I have booked quite a few commercials. So that is where the bulk of your money will come from. But I'll talk about all of that in a later video. I hope this helps give you like some version of an idea of who I am, and just some things about theater and film. So this is just like the beginning to what is to come. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one.